Hello.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we want to share our thoughts into the Mamamoo EP, Travel. We asked you guys earlier in the week if you were interested in hearing that, and a couple of you said please, so we're going to oblige. Expectations heading in. This is our first comeback from Mamamoo.
Yep.
And so far we've only heard title tracks from some, because we've been going back through their MVs. So heading into like the EP, like did you have any expectations?
We've been through their catalog in terms of the title tracks, as you said, like Dingga, the Four Seasons, Four Colors Project, and Aya.
And Hip as well.
And Hip. So I think all of them sort of, like musically, they sort of have a similar vibe, but different too. I don't even know how you describe it, because they all have like they're modern but also not. Like they all sort of have callbacks, I feel like, to different eras of music or different genres. They're not like, there's no like pure genre song, I don't think. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of the title tracks we've heard so far, Windflower has been the only one that has been kind of upbeat in its tempo and kind of presentation. So heading into this EP, I wasn't really sure, like, are we expecting 6 songs? Are we going to be kind of high tempo? Or are we going to get a little bit of change of pace? Because we're obviously usually B-Sides usually switch it up a little bit, right?
It shows some more variation, more of their like range. So yeah, I was curious, like we've heard the 2 title tracks, what are the other songs gonna sound like?
So this is a short EP, so I feel like the easiest thing to do is for us to go through each song, share our opinion on the song or what stood out to us, and then give you our overall impression of the EP, and then maybe we can pick a favorite song.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Okay, so we had Travel, which is kind of weird. I kind of thought usually the title track matches the name of the EP or the album, but in this case, Travel is on the EP, but it is not a title track. So that was kind of interesting, right?
It is interesting. But I guess it has the designation of the lead track, right, of the album. So you start off, that's what sets the tone.
Yeah. And it's like such a road trip song, I think. It kind of puts you in that kind of adventurous mood. And kind of like, for me, the highlight of the song is the post-chorus, which is the part where they're kind of, where Minbil is basically like, cherry, gamble, beachy, watermelon, mango. Like that's my favorite part. Every time that part comes on, I'm like,
It feels like an open road type of song. You know, you got the windows down. It kind of musically, it kind of reminded me of the early 2010s, like indie rock. Not indie rock. Indie like sort of music kind of sound. And also the quality kind of had like a certain echo or like a distortion to it that kind of felt like it was underwater or like in a bathroom, or the acoustics wasn't felt like it was in
a little bit muffled.
Like a bit of muffling. And the lyrics were really interesting to me too, because it's like it's not completely like a happy type of road trip song, because it references a lot of like you don't have the answers, and like breaking from normality, like normalcy, like returning to childhood. So there's definitely a sense of like nostalgia, escapism, different elements coming into play. That's not just like a free-spirited, like, you know, on the road type thing.
No, and I think Travel like leads really well into Dingga, because Dingga again is another song that's about escapism. It's kind of referencing the currents, like everyone's kind of staying at home, being very low key, but you want to be out with your friends and partying. So like those 2 songs paired together, like where Travel is like a road trip song, Dingga then brings it up to like a more kind of party level or something. It's really high energy.
It holds like both those feelings at the same time, you know, like the happiness of being able to party or travel, but then also the sadness of like not being able to, and having to stay indoors, or having to, you know, Escape. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does those two. Like they pair really well.
They do pair really well. But Dingga, to be honest, like Dinga's been out about 3 weeks now, and it's one of my favorite songs of the last month in terms of releases. I just, as you're listening to it, even if you're not watching the MV, I'm still like mentally seeing all the little moves and the like na 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 where they're kind of stroking the ground, or like the choreography is so kind of distinct that even when I'm just listening to the audio, I'm kind of visualizing all the little hand movements as they go through it.
Yep. And
for me, like Dingga, I just think like, because the majority of the song is carried by Solar and Wheein in terms of singing, Hwasa's parts come in, and I just think they're like the perfect contrast on the chorus, because she does a lot of the ding ding, like that part. If you're wondering why I keep looking down, I have some notes here. And then I really like Moonbill's rap in it as well. Anyway, I think Dingga, even though it kind of touches on the sadness that's what's happening at the moment, it also it's just a fun song, right?
Yeah, it's fun. So I feel like because Travel and Dingga are a pair, but then the next two songs I feel like
they're a pair as well.
A pair too. Yeah. So I guess we should chat about Aya.
Yeah. So Aya, which is the title track, I think Dingga is technically a pre-release.
Yeah.
I find like Aya like to be a kind of a sultry song. And in that regard, it shares that with Diamond. Diamond's also a little bit on the sultry side, and I just really enjoy all the kind of the ad-libs where they're like, where I think it's mainly Hwasa who's like growling and purring. It's kind of like, okay.
I mean, you just always love growling.
I mean, if you guys have
there's a growl.
Not always, but if you've seen our reaction to Aya when we first watch it, you'll know I'll mention the growling and the purring there too. I still dig it. It's been about a week, but I'm still into it.
Lucky.
But the part of Aya I really appreciate is like the build up to the chorus. Like the chorus itself is kind of changes the momentum, and it's a little bit less. It's a slower chorus than the pre-build, but I really enjoy the build up to it, and I like the brass sound that comes in towards the second half. Sounds really cool.
Yeah, and the sound is just interesting. Like I think we read that it was supposed to be like an Arabic type vibe or something. Oh, is it? Right? Or
I didn't read anything.
Or maybe not, but I feel like I came across that somewhere. Maybe in the YouTube comments or something, I don't know. But for the song. But yeah, and then in terms of Chuck, I feel like it's like a complimentary song, but it's very different in vibe. Even though they're both breakup songs, Aya feels much more aggressive in that, you know, there's the like pulling the rotten tooth and like, you know, sort of it felt more like a sharper.
It was sharper,
reaction.
But also it was like, it was kind of a sexy breakup.
Yeah, sexy breakup. Like sort of.
But Chuck is so funny because Chuck, like for me, when I hear Chuck, I think of a person's name because it's like the short form of Charles, and I know a couple of Chucks in real life. So I was like, Chuck. When I read the name of the list, I was like, why do they call this song Chuck? And then as I was listening to it and reading through the lyrics, I was like, oh, they probably mean the verb
like
to throw out, which makes way more sense because I was like, who is this Chuck that they've dedicated a song to?
Chuck did them wrong.
Chuck did them dirty, all four of them apparently. But yeah, I mean, this song, whereas Aya was kind of identifying the root of the problem and pulling like the rotten tooth out of the rottenness of the relationship. I felt like Chuck was more about kind of the breakup process, but also the part of putting yourself back together and learning to love yourself, and like, because there is that period sometimes when you're breaking up and you're kind of like doubting yourself, or you feel like maybe you're better off in the relationship than out, even if it's not perfect. So I think Chuck was kind of going through that.
Well, it outlines it completely. Like there's so many moments where it's like literally, oh, you know, this is how we're interacting right now. Like one line that I thought was like, it kind of sounded funny to me, but maybe there's cultural significance. So,
Which line is
but you make so much sound when you're eating.
You make so much sound when you're eating. Oh, as in all the little things that irritate.
Maybe I feel like that's what it's calling to, and I was like, you know, from like a context, our context, it sounds like a sort of like it's an annoying thing. So it almost has like a funny context to it. But I don't know if like in Korea maybe there's like a significance to it.
But I could see like
if
someone's irritating you and they start eating beside you, it's like
you make too much sound.
Can't they be just quiet for one moment?
Yeah.
But Chuck as a song, I really like the rhythm. It's got that bass going through it, like the intro with the bass, and then it just kind of continues through it. It's just I enjoy the simplicity of it almost in that regard.
And I just imagine them like it's like, let's say they're going through like garbage or something, like cleaning the house, and then they come across the item and they're all four of them are like Chuck. Chuck. Yeah, Chuck.
Oh, okay. So
Right?
is the song like one of those like you know when you bring all the items that remind you of a relationship together and then you like burn them like a
maybe. But when they say Chuck, I like just envision that in my head, like, yeah, Chuck.
But yeah, and there was a part of the song I really enjoyed, which was Hwasa and Wheein were harmonizing at some point towards, I think maybe on a chorus towards the end. You know, Hwasa has that deeper tone, and Wheein Hwasa has that deeper tone, and Wheein has like a much higher voice, and them singing together at that point just really kind of, I don't know, it sounded really together, nice together. Yeah. So if Travel and Dingga are a pair, and then Aya and Chuck are a pair, I actually don't think the last two songs are particularly a pair. I think Diamond ties in with the overall like cohesiveness, the journey of the album, and then Goodnight, well, at least for me, seems to be kind of a standalone song in that regard. It kind of
probably literally Goodnight. Like this album is over.
So Diamond, I really enjoyed Diamond. There's just something very like the way it opens, that kind of beat that goes through it, and then like the chorus almost has like a Lord, is it Lord or Lordy? Lord, I think. The singer has like a royal vibe, and there's just something about it that kind of called to that. And
well, with the bass, like it has a slow jam type feel to it, like kind of sensual. Oh yeah,
it's a kind of a sensual song as well. But yeah, I think this song though is a little bit more, you know, they're coming out the other side of a breakup. They're solidified in their like kind of self-love or their like perception of themselves, and
they know they're a gem.
And then if someone is coming along with them, then they gotta get on board with the agenda, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let me plug in my laptop. So yeah, I mean, mostly it's kind of like a smooth song. There's just sultriness to it.
Yeah, I agree. It, you know, has a mood to it.
Has a mood. And then you go into Goodnight, which is a completely different vibe. It's
180.
It's like the ballad song of the album, and for me, it's like it's a very sweet song actually. If you read through the lyrics, it's very comforting.
Reassuring,
it's a very comforting song, and I feel like maybe it's speaking towards the fans who maybe because they haven't been able to meet with the fans throughout the year, and it's been a tough year for the majority of people, unless you're a billionaire or a celebrity of some kind. So it's kind of extending some comfort to the fans and kind of solace a little bit, right?
It's literally a lullaby. It's like good night, like. You know, when you sleep, like, hope you don't have nightmares, and like, you know, don't have worries, that kind of thing. Like,
I really like the final chorus because they start off the final chorus with a pared back version. There's very little instrumentation around it, and then it builds back into the instrumentation. But that kind of pared back part just felt really, it's like they were almost like someone was beside you actually singing to you, which was, it was kind of like, it's the most like comforting / personal song on the album, I guess. And when I say personal, I don't mean like like, oh, it was sharing something personal to them, so much as it first felt personable. Does that make sense?
Like intimate.
Intimate, that's the better word for it. Yeah. So
it's Mamamoo tucking us to sleep.
Yeah, so overall, what do you think of the album or the EP?
There's not a weak song, right? Like,
no, I don't
it's
think
pretty
so.
consistent throughout.
There's no skips on this one.
And it felt very no skips. And it felt very cohesive in that we talked about, like, it feels like there's pairings, and thematically it seems to tie together, and then with Goodnight is like wraps it up in a bowl, like.
Yeah, I agree. I think like the majority of the songs are kind of, you could have on a general playlist. Goodnight I might reserve for when I'm in a particular mood. If I was listening to Dingga, then Goodnight came on straight afterwards, I might be like, whoa, that's whiplash. But yeah, if I was kind of looking for something a little bit more chill, I'd have Goodnight on that playlist, and then the others, I think they're upbeat or kind of in, like, similar-ish enough that they could all go in like a similar playlist. But yeah, I mean, for me, the highlights of this album are Dingga. I just really love Dingga. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just pairing it with the little dance, just the vibe of it, the energy. I just really enjoy it. And then the other song I really enjoyed was Diamond. There's just, it's like a way different sound to Dingga, but there's just something I really love about the sultriness, the how the beat carries throughout it with like instrumentals, there we go, and kind of that almost lord feel. It's the vibe. There's just a vibe that I'm just like. What about you?
I'd say Dingga definitely has a similar vibe, and like not similar vibe, it has a like very it feels good. It's a feel good song, I think. And then I think I might go with the paired song couple there with Travel. Yeah, I feel like they feel relevant at the moment.
That's true. I mean, aren't all of us wishing to go traveling? I know I am. I'm itching to go somewhere, or even just like hang out in a bar without kind of the fear. But overall, as a first introduction to like B-Sides from Mamamoo and like a comeback and listening to the full project, I really enjoyed it. I actually think Mamamoo are very consistent. Like,
there's not been a weak song in all our Mamamoo journey so far. So.
No, I think there's a couple of songs that are kind of more reserved for like if you're in a specific mood, maybe like Goodnight or Windflower. But the rest of them, I think they're all solid. Like that can be on my playlist, and I wouldn't tire of it, and I wouldn't skip it. But I still, for me though, like, aside from Dingga, my favorite is Starry Night so far. But for those of you who are here specifically for the album review, that information may not be very relevant to you. So there you have it. That is our opinion on the EP. And I'm excited to explore more of like the B-Sides, especially for the Four Seasons project, because we've seen and heard the title tracks. I'm kind of excited to get into the B-Sides.
All right. So that's our album review, and we'll be checking out more Mamamoo stuff. Diving deep into their catalog, and we're gonna put out more K-pop content, not just Mamamoo. So make sure you click subscribe, and you'll get notified of all those new, fresh new content. And that's us. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks. Bye.